I'm McKenna Drevno. I'm an assistant athletic trainer with football. I've been here for 3 seasons. Roger was a unique case because he initially presented as a fibula fracture. He went down second play of the first drive of the Oregon game. Gary and I that first ran out to him. He just said his lower leg. We did our test for it and we thought he had a fibula fracture. We splinted him, removed him from the field and went straight and got x-rays. As we collected imaging, we noticed that he also had a grade 2 MCL sprain and that he also had a high ankle sprain along with a fibula fracture. Fibula fracture was actually more proximal than it was distal, so it was closer to his knee. So that was a lot. 3 injuries in one rehab case is a lot to do. My biggest goal for him initially, can we walk without pain? Can we start firing these muscles? Can we get some range of motion going? And really just monitoring that pain that whole time. And then as we check off each box, we were able to add more goals. Okay, let's see if we can walk. How are you doing with walking in the pool? How are you doing in jogging in the pool? And then slowly just transforms to, okay, let's see if you can run on land. That was a challenge that we faced. He wasn't initially able to run on land with proper form. Like, well, what can he do? And I was like, well, we can do offensive line footwork. We started just doing small, within 5 yards of just offensive line footwork. And then with that, training his calf, because that was his limiting factor, we were able to then transition him into being able to run normally on the field. So it was in segments was each goal that we had, but obviously my ultimate goal for him was to get him back on the football field. Every day he'd come in, he'd grab his sheet, and we start with a warm-up technique. So that is either laser or in DEBA. We heat up the tissue and allow him just to start then working on some range of motion. So he'll always do some heel slides and then he'll do some heel prop, which allows his knee to get full extension. He will then always start with a hip exercise that he starts to fire up his hips, whether it's clams, standing clams, and then we dive into either quad and hamstring with some footwork type of exercise. Either have him being like closed kinetic chain exercise by doing a split stance or squatting. For me, it was really thinking outside the box. 3 different injuries in one rehab case. What I was able to do normally with an MCL sprain, I wasn't able to do because I can't load that high ankle or that fibula is tender, and so I can't do that exercise. And I think for him, it was realizing that he was injured and learning how to push himself in different ways. Football players, their one way to be able to push themselves is out on the football field, and when that's taken away from you, you're like, what's my purpose? It was a challenge of learning how to, yes, I want to get back on the field, but right now my purpose is to be here in the training room. Let me tell you, he spent a lot of time in here. Some days I'd try and kick him out because he was in here all the time. But also the healing process too. I think he wanted that to be quicker and faster than it really is. At first we thought I wasn't an overachiever. I was way more conservative in my timeline and I thought he wasn't going to be able to get back. Thought it was going to take longer than 12 weeks. Now here we are at week 10 and he's practicing and getting ready to go back on the field. For Roger, it's his consistency. He will every day show up with the same amount of effort. No matter how sore he is, how tired he is, how chaotic life is, he will show up, do his work, and be intentional about it. How he wants to take his time in exercise rehabs so that he knows he's getting good work in. He doesn't skip any reps.